Hey guys, this is my 100th episode, and this is Connor with Connor's Retribution Analysis. And I'm getting into Vassal. I'm getting into Vassal so I can get a variety of games. I can get a play against people from different metas, and I wanted to share that experience with you and share how it's working for me and get this process started and use it as a training tool. There's no clock in Vassal. It's a hard thing to enforce. The movements aren't exactly perfect and precise, and it's kind of a little bit clunky. So it really is a training tool to build and develop fundamentals and get out of meta experience. And there's some fantastic people like Jaden Nawaz is on here, Pat Dunford sometimes on here, but every single person that I've seen in the couple of test games I've done have been pretty dang good quality players. Like I've been really freaking impressed. It's a little bit of a Shark Tank. I know a lot of metas. There's probably a lot of stronger metas than the Vassal community. But I mean, to me, they seem pretty dang good. So let's dig into this and explain what's going on. It's Lucant and Destruction Initiative. These are some conservators. They're the ones with the 2 bucklers and get Hand of Vengeance when warrior models are killed, so they get +2 hit and +2 damage. And there's a prime Axiom because, well, it's really good. And then there's a whole bunch of Reflex servitors and a whole bunch of Galvanizers. And the Galvanizers are just the cheap jacks that have melee. They're basically positive charge bots. So he goes first, and he establishes his battle line right there, which is about as far as he can go. I go second. And I've got 2 thoughts on this. I'm worried about him getting into me and popping feet. That's an issue. And if he does that, me being jammed out of scenario. I'm also, though, worried about me spreading out and him toe cabling in and killing too many things. Because if I can stack 2 shield guards on around every Griffon, like for example, if he tries to pull this Griffon right here with the toe cables, I'll shield guard to Manticore, who will then get pulled into this Griffon. He tries to hit his other toe cable, I'll shield guard to this Griffon, and then shield guard to the other Manticore, and that Manticore will get pulled into the Griffon in front of him, and he won't be able to pull anything over to him and kill it. And because of the way I'm stacked right now and bunched up, that is a very possible thing for me to do. So that's the strategy I decide on. And I move up to roughly about here where I establish battle lines, and I prepare to pretty much get jammed. It's a risk, and I'm hoping that I can make a strong enough attrition play that I'll be able to pull it off, and that Pit is a dead enough scenario. It's not a dead scenario. It's just not a live scenario. It's a meh scenario. Pretty easy to contest and low scoring capabilities for 1 turn, even when they own the middle of the map. So that being said, my opponent looks at this and is like, well, I'm going to try for a scenario and attrition, a mix of both. So he takes his army and he pops feet with Lucant, but before that, all the Galvanizers run up into my face basically and create this screening lane. All the Conservators stack up right here, and the Prime Axiom basically stacks up right here. Unless I can get a lot of things to the Prime Axiom, I don't... Oh, and then tons of Reflex servitors just start running in all over the place. Because, you know, I'll kill them and then I'll get Hand of Vengeance. Whew. So, the board looks like this. And I'm looking at it like, even if I do get a Manticore into one of those Conservators, I don't think it kills an Armor 24 Conservator under Lucant's feet. It's going to be 3 attacks at dice -1, and that's not going to do it. That doesn't get me to where I want to be. And it's the same for the Axiom. I'm not going to chew through all those boxes with my army. So realizing that situation that I'm in and that scenario is an issue, I come up with a play of, because my objective's here, he's going to have to kill it next turn. If he goes and kills the next turn, that's probably a Griffon or 2 he's not killing. And I have a feet movement, so if I put something here, I can possibly scoot it in there if he does try something like that. I definitely need to get this Griffon to fleet and get to behind that obstruction over there so Prime Axiom can't pull it out and kill it and get a free zone. If I set this up, I can possibly back up and not lose on scenario. So the turn is pretty simple. Don't kill any Reflex servitors. and basically get a Griffon into this Galvanizer, and with Manticores and Griffons try and kill these Galvanizers. Now, on paper, I am making a bad peace trade by using my Manticore to kill these Galvanizers. I can't do it with Griffons. They're just armor 20 and 22 boxes is a little bit too much for me without committing a Manticore. I mean, I can sort of do it with Griffons, but it takes a large commitment of Griffons as well. Anyhow, I'm making excuses. I commit Manticore to right there, and he's in front of 3 rows of Conservators, and that's a little bit of a mistake, and I regret it. Just on paper, it's a bad fundamental peace trade. However, I'm a little bit snobby and overconfident in my ability to protect myself with my feet and moving Griffons in the way to block things, which is a mistake. I also regret not getting my Arcanist out in front of my army. If they had been, like, just, you know, one scattered right here, one scattered right there, one scattered right there, because they could have run. That could have just been a plan from turn 1, is running them up there like that. But I didn't. They could have been great feet movement things that I could have just jammed people out with. So yeah, I basically try and not kill any servitors because I'll just take the POW 14s, and I don't want to give him Hand of Vengeance. Hand of Vengeance on 15 attacks is an extra 30 damage. That's just killing those servitors no matter what. I'm pretty much getting an extra 30 damage flat out handed to me on a plate. So not happening. I put a Covering Fire template here with the white Manticore, and that's where we are. So he's looking at this, and his plan is he wants to chew up some Manticores and try to get into Imperitus. He really wants to chew up my Manticores and Imperitus. That is his goal. He's got some Griffons in the way. He comes and he puts positive charge on this dude, and he puts positive charge on Lucant. He does a good job with his positive charge because he's going to go right here, or an Axiom's going to come up right here, and because of that, he's able to get everything that's in this area covered under this these positive charge bubbles. It's really well set up, and yeah, just like the way he did it. Reflex servitors, this Conservator walks up to the black Manticore right here and doesn't make any attacks against the Griffon. He goes straight for what he wants, which is the black Manticore. Good for him. He doesn't give me a chance to escape with that Manticore, and he beats the crap out of it but doesn't kill it. Next Conservator walks up right beside him after some Reflex servitors blow up, and he beats the crap out of Manticore, leaves him on like 5 boxes, and then he starts beating the crap out of this Griffon right here, and he kills the Griffon. So that's a thing, and I don't really have good feet movements to make, so I think I take this Arcanist and just move him out just so that Imperitus can back up if he wants to. So far, he's been playing around my feet great. Then he takes this other Conservator, and I did not see this coming, or I would have stopped it. He walks him up into he gets this Reflex Servitor to explode on the Griffon, and he walks this other Conservator up into a slot right next to my white Manticore. Now I'm like, oh crap, I did not want to lose white Manticore. And he starts beating on white Manticore, and I think he kills white Manticore. And that really hurt. I was expecting to lose black Manticore, but I was not expecting to lose white Manticore. So that's a thing. And I'm sitting here looking at this position and not crazy. Oh yeah, earlier last turn, my gray Griffon over here took a free strike and it was like a crazy damage roll and did the exact boxes that it needed to cripple his right arm. So he wailed on this dude, this Galvanizer, with 2 dice that were boosted. So it was 1 dice boosted to 2. So that's why nothing really got done there, and that Galvanizer is still alive. So now he's looking at it, and he's figuring out proxy-based landing spots. Oh, and Lucant backed up. He wanted to respect Imperitus and not beta assassination run now that the feed is over. So Axiom is trying to find a place to land where he can get to Imperitus, and it's basically right here. But there's a Griffon away. He kills this Griffon, and another Griffon goes into the way. So he really kills some time thinking about this, and he's just like, I can't get there. Just not happening. So this Galvanizer walks up to right about here, and kills Gray Griffon. Teal Griffon moves up and toes into the zone. And then he still can't figure out what to do, so Axiom comes up and kills Teal Griffon. And with that, Vyros 2 backs up a little bit, so that way you can get his charge lane better over into one of the Conservators. And my feat was basically worthless because of the way he played around it. He had the debate right now of, do I make a scenario push and have Axiom go kill him so that I would score this, kill the objective, score this, and try and score this zone? He might have probably not been able to score that zone, but if he made that scenario push and went up 3-0, it's going to be really, really hard for me to score. And we were talking about that and how that all plays out. However, I think the path he chose was a good path, because if he killed White Manticore he did kill White Manticore, but if he had also finished off Black Manticore, he accidentally left him on a couple of boxes. It would have crippled me for attrition. As it is, I have some chops left. And he did a really good job of that. I thought I set up a lot better than I did. Also, the Reflex servitors apparently benefit from positive charge on the blast damage because it's a melee attack, but this is something I need to look up, and I'm hoping you guys can answer for me. It's a damage roll. But does that, that's what it says on the card. It says make a POW 14 damage roll. Does that make it a melee damage roll? Or does that just make it a flat damage roll? Because my covering fire template, I've always thought wasn't a gun attack and was just a POW 12 damage roll. I'm curious about it and want to look it up, and curious if anyone's already done that research for me. Because POW 16 blast damage was a lot worse than POW 14's. So here we are with him all up in my business. So this turn is pretty simple for me. I want to kill these 3 Conservators and get Imperitus in the way of Prime Axiom. And that way, hopefully, Manticore can live. And he took a servitor from the Axiom and blocked off my Griffon, so my Griffon can't even walk over here and build synergy. And I just laughed at that. That was really nice. It was well played. So Griffins get loaded up and they start bashing on Conservators, and stuff happens. And then Vyros comes charging in since he backed up so he could have his charge distance, and he hits this guy, and my plan is to hit him a couple of times and do some damage. Right now, with only 2 synergy stack, it's dice off 4. But the boosted damage roll, I roll like a 15. So I'm like, well, that's really freaking awesome. So I buy another attack, and I roll like a 10. Holy cow. So I'm like, all right, whatever, buy another attack. And now I'm on 2 camp, and I roll like an 8 or something, and this Conservator is just all janked up, and I'm like, holy cow, this is awesome. So Vyros repos out to a safer spot, and I'm like, sweet. This Manticore gets repaired up, and he gets some focus and concentrate power to load himself up, synergy to 3. He walks over to here to these 2 Conservators, and does Strike Generator, has a total of 4 attacks. He ends up killing them with his 4 attacks. And no, sorry, I forgot to, between the Griffon and Vyros, they killed this Conservator. That's right, that's how this worked. And then Manticore with some dice spikes and like rolling 8s and 9s and 10s on 2 dice. I had the resources to kill these 3 Conservators, no problem. But I was expecting to commit Imperitus to do it. Manticore and Vyros 2, because of their dice spikes, killing them now frees up Imperitus to go smack the crap out of Axiom, which is pretty sweet. So Imperitus does charge into Axiom and starts smacking the crap out of him. And I think he does 2/3 of his health. I think Axiom has like 20 boxes left, 18 boxes left after that or something. And I got myself towed into this zone right here so that I could contest. So score is still... he scored 1 on his turn. So score is still 1-0. And we have a map that looks like this, and here's how all of our damage columns. You can see I really got that Prime Axiom pretty dang good. And this is the Manticore up here that I still have remaining. So, his turn, he finds a spot where Prime Axiom can get to Manticore and Imperitus. However, things get messed up a little bit for where stuff goes, and also this is a proxy. This is a proxy right here. He flares Imperitus and Manticore for hit reliability. And then this Attune Servitor hops over into the way of Griffon because I moved this Griffon in to contest this zone down here. He's not able to get Manticore in Prime Axiom's range. So between the flare and positive charge, making Axiom a mat 10, he's able to with 4 of his 5 attacks, he leaves Imperitus on 1 box, and then he puts another hit into Griffon and leaves Griffon on 13 boxes. He half healths the black Griffon over here, and then with what's left, Servitors start charging Manticore and start charging Imperitus under positive charge. They finish off the remaining damage right here and the remaining damage on Imperitus to kill both of them off. And I want to say Lucant goes over here and kills my objective. So with that happening, he kills the objective and he scores this zone. So he brings it up to 3-0. For control points. And we have a map that now looks like this. And I'm starting to feel the scenario pressure. I'm thinking about it this turn is like I can bring down Prime Axiom and I got to score a point. That's my goal. If I do that, I think Vyros 2 can carry out the game. Because I still have 3 almost full health Griffons left, and then he'll have a Corollary and a Diffuser. And it's turn 4 or 5, and I think I got this if I can get that Prime Axiom and score a point. So these 2 Griffons get loaded up over here, and they start beating on Prime Axiom. They do a little bit of damage, boosting their damage rolls, building up synergy. And then after that, Fane Knight, I think he's on like 2 boxes. Fane Knight Guardian charges in, and dice off 7, he rolls a 7. I'm like, ugh, come on! So then I'm looking at it like, okay, Let's get this whole time. Also, Lucant's had Watcher on him, and I've been very careful to play around Watcher. So I have 2 Arcanists that can run into this zone over here. One Arcanist charges Axiom. It's a POW 9, hoping to roll well and kill Axiom. That'd be fantastic. It's just a bonus though. The 2 Arcanists run into here. First one goes. Corollary gets triggered by the Arcanist, and he doesn't see that I have another Arcanist I can run in there. He thinks he's going to score a point on my turn since there's not much over here that can get over there. So Corollary abandons this zone and goes and kills my Servitor. And that was perfect. I didn't have a way of killing that Corollary. Corollary is now out of that center zone, and he goes and he kills my Arcanist with the... Oh no, he rolled real crap on the... It's Watcher attacks are boosted. He needed, I think it was like a 9 to hit. He rolled a 4, so that Arcanist lived. And then I run my second Arcanist in there just to be more of a pain in the butt. And then yeah, so Corollary's out of that zone. So now that has happened, it's Vyros 2 time. Vyros 2 walks into the part. Oh, the Arcanist rolled. He rolled 1 damage, so the Prime Axiom has 1 box left. Vyros 2 walks into the party. He gives a nice sword to the Axiom. It's dice off 4, kills off the Axiom. And he's like, okay, I'm pretty cool. And then he starts rolling some dice on the Diffuser, or the Galvanizer, sorry. It's already half health from its earlier exchange with the Griffon earlier in the game. And he kills the Galvanizer with 2 focus. And he's like, yeah, that's pretty freaking awesome. And he takes his quick work shot, and he shoots down... this servitor that's over in the zone right here. And now I'm looking at places I can repo to safety. There's not good options. Because you know how cool I felt that, like maybe 3-4 minutes ago? Now I'm not feeling so cool because Lucant has a 10-inch threat range. And if I repo anywhere into this zone, he's going to be in the 10-inch threat range. And if I repo out, he's going to score 4 points next turn really easily, but I'm also giving him a chance at maybe doing some bullcrap thing to possibly get a 5th point and just close the game out. So I really want to score that point. I don't want to give him the power in that court, but I also don't want to give him an assassination run. I started debating this. There's no clock in this, and it's getting late at night. So I decide I'm going to do what I think I would do on instinct, on low clock, in this type of a situation. And on instinct, I think I would see the threat range and I would trust in Vyros 2's survivability, and I would repo him as far out as I could and try and make it so he has to go through the water. So we end up, also this Griffon over here, now that he's in synergy range, he kills that little servitor, and I score 1. It's 3-1. Yay! And that makes me feel like with killing Axiom being 3-1, having my Griffons be fresh, just having him having a corollary left, I feel like this game has swung in my favor. I finally overcame the attrition kind of hole that I was in, and I've made it to the spot where I can meaningfully score and contest on scenario. Yeah. So his turn. He's got this little attunement servitor right here, and it was right here. It walks over to right here, and this is when I take my picture. And he's going to do a flare at Vyros 2, and I'm like, hey, you're engaged. And he's like, I've got Gunfighter. And I'm like, oh, crap. So he's at the distance with Vyros 2 where if he misses, no matter how far it deviates, it's only going to deviate like an inch, and it's going to hit Vyros 2 and flare him. And that drastically changes the dice math. However, he needs a 10 to hit. He rolls exactly a 10. And I'm like, oh, thank you so much. And I shield guarded over here to this Griffon that's orange. And I can't see what this guy looks like on the other side of the screen, but I'm pretty sure his face is in the palm of his hand right now. Like, why? Why did it work out this way? What have I done wrong that I should be cursed like this? And so, okay, Vyros is not going to be flared. And he's like, I'm still going to do this. Puts positive charge on Lucant, and he has Pathfinder natively, which I didn't know. I thought he was going to tune up, which apparently only works on Warjacks. And he charges across the shallow little water, and he starts making his attacks on Vyros 2, who's on a 2 camp. I have a 15-18. He, with positive charge, is a mat 8. And he needs 7s to hit, and it's straight dice. He rolls his first to hit, needing the 7. He hits it, gets 3 dice, does probably 4 damage through my shave, rolling a 9. Then he buys his second attack, misses, buys another attack, hits with it, and does about 2 damage through my shave with a 7. And then he buys a couple more, misses, buys another one, and he's starting to feel like this isn't going to work out. And he hits with another one. He does, I think, 5 or 6 damage, and Vyros 2 is on about 9 boxes, and he misses his last attack. Whew. And I'm going to be honest, guys. There were a lot of 5s that he rolled to hit that would have hit with Flare. So far, if we go back in time and just take a peek at my luck in this game, I had a Manticore live that shouldn't have lived. Then that Manticore dice spiked with Vyros 2 dice spiking, got way more work done than they should have gotten done. Then I barely killed an Axiom as a result of it being completely messed up by Imperitus, who could do whatever he wanted because of all those dice spikes. And then here we are. I mean, I don't want to say dice is the reason why I won, because I've done a lot of really cool and good things in this game. But dice are kind of why I've won. He was a great sport about it. Real gentleman, great attitude. I feel like we both played pretty dang solid games up until this point. And I mean, we had some tough decisions, and maybe we didn't make the best decisions, but we still made good decisions of all the decisions we had to make. Like there were best decisions, and there were great decisions, and there were good decisions. And we always, I feel like I feel like it was pretty well played out on both sides. And yeah. So yeah. That's how that stinking thing went. Lucant won, or Lucant did not kill Vyros 2. And then, yeah, Griffons bashed him in with Vyros 2. And, yeah, here was final board state, and that was cool. Survived on 7 boxes. Hopefully you guys enjoy this. Hopefully you guys like these Vassal games and they're somewhat easy to follow. It is kind of clunky. I do like not having to set up boards. You just click a button and the whole board is there for you. Random terrain, random scenario, random everything. I like a lot of its features. You can pre-save armies, so you don't have to pull them out of a bag or anything. You just start deploying them. There's a lot of things that save time in this. And also, you could get faster than an actual game, than actual tabletop with this format. But, yeah. Thank you for watching. Man. There were some things I shouldn't have done in this game. My 2 Manticores should have been farther back. That's just how that should have been. I should have lost more Griffons and planned on having Vyros 2 and whatever remaining Griffons I have build synergy and have 2 Manticores and Imperitus get a lot of attrition work done. That peace trading math that I did where I lost both Manticores is my flaw in this game. The other big concept that I could have been debated is my 2 to 3 turn future sight of looking ahead of the game. I knew going into this game, as soon as he got right here and he had a feat, that if he jams into me and pops feet, I'm going to really have problems. And I made the decision to ball up. Maybe what I should have done is planned on having at least 1 shield guard spread a little bit wider so I can dig deeper and pull out, because how I balled up, I can't dig into his conservators. I can't dig into his backline things. If I spread out, he's going to get, with as long as he hits both toe cables and he gets his flares where he needs them to be, he's going to get 1 Griffon or something dragged in just as a freebie kill for Prime Axiom. But maybe I should have just been fine with that, honestly, because if I get spread out a lot more, I can focus to where places I want to. I can do contest scenario a lot better. And I can take things that he doesn't want me to take. When I'm balled up, I'm easy to keep balled up, so to speak, especially on an armor feat like Lucant's, which is devastating. So that's my thoughts on the game. As far as what he could have done better, I mean, dude just like makes really, really good micro plays. The way he placed the servitors, how he used them to block line of sight, how they were annoying, how they were placed to block my charge lanes, to trigger hand. I never triggered hand of destruction. I never kill. I mean, until all the conservators died that turn, I did not ever trigger hand of destruction. And because he was constantly putting them in my face, he got to do all the blast damage rolls he wanted. He did a really good job of that, so to speak. Yeah, his micro play was fantastic. As far as macro play, he had that second turn decision of, or maybe it was third turn, go for scenario, go for attrition. It's really, really hard to look back and say, hey, because he could have killed both Manticores if dice had been a little bit more favorable. He made some decisions where he could have killed Black Manticore, but instead for sure killed White Manticore. I mean, maybe his micro could have been a little bit better there, but really hard to critique. I still don't even know if it's the right or wrong decision to go for attrition instead of scenario. I mean, obviously, he chose a little combination of both, but it's so hard. Because I think with 2 Manticores and Imperitus, and you know what? If I don't give him those Manticores, I'm pretty sure he does go for scenario. But because they were on the table, I think he thought he could get enough done with attrition. But yeah, I bet if I didn't give him, that's it's so weird and complicated. This is the spot where I feel like I'm not a good enough player to at the end analyze these decisions we made and these situations we were in. Whereas I'm sure if you put Patrick Dunford, Tim Banky, some of these greater players into these situations, they can look at it and be like, that's what should have happened, and say it with certainty and just the game experience to know how those paths play out. And in those really close win condition choices, pick the right one. Because we were aware of the win conditions the whole entire game and what was at stake and how to play against them. But it was too hard for us to tell which one was going to be the better choice, both of us. So yeah, thank you for watching and hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry it's a little long.